It's June the 19th on the allotment. We've had a slightly enforced harvest today. I've had to harvest some of my garlic as it got a lot of rust. Fortunately there's nothing I can do about rust. It's a wind-borne fungus and it catches it, and it caught my garlic quite early on in the spring, so I've ended up with some very small bulbs. I had two sections of garlic planted over winter this year. One was affected, one hasn't been affected, and they're literally 3 meters apart. That's just how unlucky you can be. Although the stuff I've got out, I'll be able to eat it, so let's have a look at it. Right, so this is the harvest. You can see how bad the rust has been in some cases. Have a look at it here. It's almost completely taken away some of it. So the smallest we've got, if I look at my finger, we've got some tiny little bulbs here that have been really stunted, but they're still quite nicely formed, so they'll dry up nicely and they'll be okay. Then we've got some slightly larger ones here, weren't as affected, and then that goes up to some here. They're actually quite a nice size, some of these actually. These will be quite nice. The bulbs haven't been affected luckily by the rust, so they'll still be all nice enough to eat. It's a shame, but this is one of the things that happens, and there's not much I can do about it. You can see how bad the rust has got there. So I've had to harvest it because I've got to take it off of the site so it doesn't infect any other garlic that I've got. But actually, I'm moderately pleased with this. I'll be able to dry it, plat it, stick it on a string, and should have some garlic for a good few months out of that. We get through a lot in our house, so it's not as bad as it seems. If I just take you over to my other garlics here, and you can see if I look at the leaves, I've pretty much escaped any kind of infection here. It's growing quite strongly still, and if I look down at some of these bulbs, they're forming quite nice large bulbs, so they're going to be quite nice, and they'll last me beyond winter, I hope. I'll also show you my tomatoes, which I've started really coming on now, and I've got some little flowers starting to develop here, and this method is where they're tied with string up onto a main frame, and they're actually coming along quite nicely. I noticed there's one gap there where one didn't make it, so I should have replaced that, but they're actually coming along quite nicely. This is one of the problems I have, where I'm surrounded by unused plots, so all of these seeds blow in and it's a real pain, but hopefully they'll get taken up soon. If not, I'll have to take on one, or maybe even just start taking on some of the weeding, because it's coming right over there onto my potatoes, you see there, and it's shading them quite a lot. So yeah, an enforced harvest today, but it's okay actually. There's always a silver lining.